This one's going to be a little bit short because I'm super tired and I need to go to sleep. And my interview tomorrow is my earliest interview. Originally, they have a thing at each ASHP meeting called CE in the morning, and the program starts at like 6 o'clock in the morning. And I don't think I'm going to make that. I'm going to sleep in and wake up around 6:30. But today I had 4 interviews. Three of them. So the very first one that I had is a program that contacted me. And I don't remember if I mentioned in the video, but on the website, you contact programs, you fill out an application, you request an interview, and then they contact you back and say these are the time slots and you guys work out a time. But apparently they can also just schedule an interview. And that's what happened with this university. They have a campus in Georgia and a campus in South Carolina, and they're hiring for a faculty member at the South Carolina campus. On the plus side, the practice site that they have available is at a VA hospital. And if I remember correctly, they weren't looking specifically for ID faculty. I think they were looking for faculty, and ID was one of them, but I don't quite remember. I think it is. I think that's why she was telling me that their practice site for the ID position was at the VA. So that would have worked out well. The second school that I interviewed at is brand new, and brand new to the point where they actually haven't. I'm shaking my hand to gesture, and I'm moving the camera. They haven't even enrolled their first class yet. They would expect to enroll their first class. If everything goes well, they would enroll their first class this fall. And the nice thing about a brand new program like that is you get to come in and help set it up. The key faculty and administration in that have already been there because they've had to actually create the curriculum and all of that to get started. But as far as shaping the further curriculum, that's all kind of an open book. And the first inaugural faculty are the ones who kind of put that all together. So that's very exciting. The problem is when you come into a brand new school like that, it's put together piecemeal in that right now, the first year faculty, anybody who needs to teach the classes that are going to be taken the first year of school have to be there. And then what they can do is during that first year hire and make sure they've got the people for the next year, and then make sure they've got the people for the third year, and then make sure they've got all the practice sites and preceptors set up for the fourth year. So they can do it 1 year at a time. They don't have to have the full 4 years of program all set up at the beginning. But the problem with that is that when you come in as one of those initial faculty members, you are going to be expected to pretty much do all kinds of stuff. So like I could go in there as an infectious diseases pharmacist, but you know what? I'm not going to just teach infectious diseases. I'm going to have to teach whatever they need me to teach on top of infectious diseases. So I might end up having to teach diabetes or anticoagulation or depression or acne or, all kinds of stuff. And that's because they're going to have a limited faculty at the beginning of the school, and that faculty is going to have to take care of all of the topics that need to be taught. One of the other issues that I talked about, that he mentioned during that interview was the fact that one of the big things that they have to prepare for is by the fourth year, they have to have all their practice sites set up. And they're going to have these faculty, the clinical faculty, coming in now, but they're not going to have students going to those sites until year 4. I mean, there might be some involvement during the initial IPPE, which is the initial introductory pharmacy practice experience, which usually happens somewhere like first or second year of school. But in the most part, they have to have the clinical services set up for the fourth year. But you can't wait till the third year to set up those fourth year rotation sites. You have to secure them now, because in California they have more than one pharmacy school. And so you have to kind of compete for sites with those other pharmacy schools. So they need to get you into a location and park you there so that you hold that for them and own it for them until the students come. So the problem with that is they're not going, from the institution's perspective, they don't care so much that you're matched up with a site that you fit in. They care that your butt is occupying one of those seats for them. And especially because this is a for-profit school. I'm a little biased towards for-profit education. Not a big fan of it. I'm a member of the Public Service Loan Forgiveness Program, which is for healthcare professionals. And if you work at a nonprofit institution that's a qualifying institution under the rules of the Loan Forgiveness Program, and you spend full-time employment at one of these qualifying institutions for 10 years, then the remainder of your student loans are forgiven. But as a for-profit school, I don't think they're going to qualify. There might be the ability to kind of sneak in with the fact that your practice site is at a VA hospital or another community hospital that is a nonprofit. But I think the key point is that you're not employed by the hospital, you're employed by the university, and the university is for-profit. So that's probably one of the bigger downsides financially. Although not really that much of a downside in that I should be paying my student loans anyway. So, it's loss of something rather than a detriment, if that makes sense. Like the loan forgiveness is a bonus that I could get rather than the default situation and such that I'm going below that. I interviewed at a school in Florida. They are looking specifically for they're hoping for an oncology pharmacist, but they said that they'll take, other specialties as well. The problem there is I am an infectious disease pharmacist, and the chair of their search committee is an infectious disease pharmacist, and they have another infectious disease pharmacy professor at that school as well. So they've got two already, and then I would be a third, and I don't know if they necessarily need a third, especially when they're really hoping for an oncology pharmacist. But that's an availability. They were just up the road. I say just up the road. I mean, they were in the next city over when I was in West Palm Beach. They have 3 campuses. One's in Fort Lauderdale, one's in Vero Beach, or Palm Springs. But that was nice. But the last interview of the day was the best. It's at the University of Houston. Unlike the other programs, for sure the University of Houston is looking to fill an infectious diseases position. That is what they want, infectious diseases. They're not even entertaining other specialties because what they have is an open spot in an established infectious diseases practice at one of their hospitals. And so you're going to be expected to go in and take over that established practice, which is great. I mean, there's benefits to having where you go in and create your own practice. There's obvious benefits to doing that. But of course, there's obvious benefits to being able to walk in and have it already set up for you, so that you're not having to create everything from scratch. You just kind of get to come into something that's already working and maintain that. One of the other real big benefits there, 2 of the other big benefits. One, Houston is known for infectious disease. Some of the most published authors in infectious disease are some of the faculty there at Houston. On the one hand, yes, that means that they have multiple infectious disease physicians, infectious disease pharmacists there as well. But they also have multiple hospitals that they staff at. So they've got ID pharmacists in this hospital, and then there's another one in this hospital, but I would be in this third hospital. And so they're expecting to have that many infectious disease faculty. And like I said, they're specifically looking to fill that slot. And then the last bit of news, which is really awesome, is that they have a PGY2 infectious diseases residency, like what I'm doing right now. And they are explicitly intending for this ID pharmacy faculty member who's coming on board now to take over the residency program as the director several years down the line. So that's just like built-in, promotion and job security, which would be awesome. So I'm really hoping I'm going to apply to that job, and I really hope that I can get that. All right, bye.